After a long search, Peggy finally found a place for her collection on the top floor of 130 West 57th Street. André Breton and Howard Putzel had persuaded Peggy that Frederick Kiesler was the ideal man to create the physical setting for her gallery museum. His plans for the project were indeed breathtaking.
Until 2 days before the opening, not even Maks was admitted. At first he balked about having all the frames removed from his paintings, but when he saw how well all the others looked, he decided not to be different. The surrealist gallery had curved walls made of gumwood. The unframed paintings, mounted on baseball bats, which could be tilted at any angle, protruded about 2 feet from the walls. Each one had its own spotlight. The lights went on and off every 3 seconds, to everybody's dismay, first lighting one half of the gallery and then the other. The publicity we got was overwhelming, and photographs appeared in all the papers. 14 of Maks' paintings and collages were on exhibition, more than those of any other painter. Naturally, as I owned so many. At the opening, Maks looked very happy.
An unforgettable event was a photo session in 1942, New York Artists in Exile, that lasted from lunch way past dinner. The result was a much-published assembly of 20th century masters, not unlike a standard high school graduation photograph. The atmosphere was explosive. The faces were somber and self-important, with the exception of that of the class joker, Maks Ernst, up front and center, which wears a distinct smirk, as if in secret judgment on the rest of the gang. On his right, Tanguy, on his left, Chagall and Léger, then Matta, Breton, Zadkine, Masson, Ozonfon, Chelychev, Lipschitz, Seligman, Berman, and Mondrian. Marcel Duchamp was present as a mere observer, because I have stopped being an artist and now only play chess. He whispered to me what they might have thought about each other. Léger, a proletarian? Ha! He's nothing more than a petty bourgeois horse-meat butcher. Chagall would cover his grandmother with cerulean blue paint if he could sell her for dollars. Unfortunately, I was not so familiar with the objects of derision then. But I was rather disturbed watching these eminent artists behave like Hollywood starlets.
In 1946, a Hollywood movie company invited famous American and European artists to participate in a competition on the subject of the temptation of St. Anthony. Maks Ernst describes his entry as follows.
Shrieking for help and light across the stagnant water of his dark, sick soul, St. Anthony receives as an answer the echo of his fear, the laughter of the monsters created by his visions.
The jury, which comprised Marcel Duchamp, Sidney Janis, and Alfred Barr, the director of the Museum of Modern Art, justified the award of first prize to Maks Ernst as follows.
The Ernst painting presents a St. Anthony in the throes of extreme subjective torment. Horned and crustaceous, a cross between the most revolting, distorted features of animal, bird, reptile, and human form, preys upon him with vindictive, perverse, and gleeful greed. Only after the hypnotic spell of horror is somewhat shaken off does one notice in the middle ground the presentation of the theme of sacred and profane love. In the lush center, the figure of an earthly temptress, and high on a pedestal, the figure of woman exalted. In the opinion of the confirmed surrealist, this painting is nevertheless in the great tradition of German medieval art, but as a thoroughly contemporary version.
Then I met a young woman in America, or rather in New York, the painter Dorothea Tanning, and very soon she became my wife.
It was around Christmas in 1942 when Maks rang my doorbell. He was choosing pictures for the Peggy Guggenheim Gallery for a show to be called 30 Women. On an easel was my self-portrait, not quite finished. He looked, while I tried not to. At last, what do you call it? I really haven't a title. Then you can call it birthday, just like that. He had come to stay. That we were both painters, visionaries, did not strike me at the time as anything but the happiest of coincidences. It was so unbelievable, I told myself, yes, if it only lasts 3 weeks, it is still all right.